Let's get into it. Soul Not For Sale podcast. We got Joe Rogan and Whitney Cummings, and what they're talking about is this scene here that played out not too long ago. Here, check this out. Can't show you much, but I'll show you a little bit. That gentleman right there. Now, that gentleman, he was walking up to a protest. It was an anti-mining protest. They were blocking the road, as protesters have been doing for some time. It's a nuisance. No one likes it. This gentleman said, "This ends here," and he ended up taking two people's lives because he just had enough. 77-year-old man. His name was Kenneth Darlington, and you're about to hear Joe Rogan and Whitney Cummings talk about that gentleman and also the mentality of protesters as a whole. And yeah, let's just get right into that. Soul Not For Sale podcast. Keep calm and do not comply. You can get that at IamCoachColin.com. Let's get into it.
To go sit in the road?
Yeah, of course.
Jesus Christ. Did you see that guy in Venezuela? I think it was. Was it Venezuela or somewhere where he shot stop oil protesters? Some guy just got out of his... He's an American.
I have seen this.
They were blocking the road. I don't know if it was a stop oil. It was some sort of a
Protester, like
where they
sitting on the
closed
ground.
road.
Yep.
This guy gets out, pulls out a gun, and just fucking shoots people.
It's
No.
like a ranger?
No.
Oh. Because I've
No.
seen the rangers like drag him out of the road.
I'll send it to you, Jamie. The video's available online, but this guy just pulls out a gun and starts whacking people. 77-year-old man from...
I got Panama. I got it here.
Is it Panama?
Yeah. Oof. I got it on the screen.
Oh, this guy. I wouldn't fuck with that guy.
Yeah, there's a video of it. He just, they stop the traffic and he walks up to them and he pulls a gun out and fucking whacks them.
I do enjoy seeing someone who's like holding up a convenience store or something, and then a pedestrian just pulls their gun out and handles it.
Yeah. Okay, I just opened up my thing and another guy just
This guy?
stabbed someone.
Oh, God. This guy walking this slow.
Yep. He pulls out a gun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to show this on the internet. They can find
Yeah.
it themselves.
Oh, he's waving it.
Yeah, he moves the stuff out of the way, but one guy gets in the way and he just fucking shoots him.
Kills him?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Right here. He starts moving.
He's like,
They're talking shit to him.
he's got to get to the urologist.
Watch the guy with the blue hat.
Once you get to that age, he's like, I have 5 more years to live. I'd
Yeah.
rather go to jail than sit in traffic. Jesus.
He's got his finger on the pistol, too. His finger on the trigger.
Why is anyone starting shit with him?
Probably just shot. Well, they don't show this in this video. I guess they show right after it.
Let's see.
What did you think was going to happen?
He shot two
In the
guys.
shoulder?
But there's a video that you can see him actually shooting people.
Yeah, but we don't need to be reposting that for...
Yeah, we don't need to see it. But yeah.
I mean,
But these fucking idiots that just block the road as if that's somehow or another going to fix everything. Or the ones that go to fucking art galleries and smash paintings.
I do think that there's a little bit of an invincibility complex that comes in with knowing you're being filmed. Like, they probably think, oh, there's a camera here. He's not going to shoot us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's
Meanwhile,
almost like,
he's probably got cancer. He's 77 years
he
old.
doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's Clint Eastwood in every one of his movies.
Yeah.
Like, don't fuck with that guy. But I do think sometimes people think, oh, there's a camera rolling. No one's going to hurt me. But it's like, that's not how
not real,
everybody
bro.
thinks. That is so ridiculous. The idea that I'm going to throw soup at a painting
Yeah, and I'm going to glue myself to the wall.
to stop. I mean, when I also try to go like, okay, when I was in college, I had a lot of really dumb ideas. That's what you're supposed to do in college. You're supposed to have dumb ideas. You're supposed to like be wrong, you know? But like the idea that we're taking any of this seriously, like, is just wild.
Well, it's just these like dumb virtue signaling kids that think they're going to fix the world by gluing themselves to a wall. Like, you fucking idiots.
But isn't that, I look at them and I go, this is like a medication mental illness issue.
It's a mental illness issue.
Right.
It's a virtue signaling thing that you can do that now and get exorbitant amounts of attention where you couldn't do that before. Yeah, and then also the punishments are so minimal. It's not nothing that you have to worry about losing your livelihood and the rest of your life being a disaster because of it.
Like, I say this as someone who had blue hair. Don't let anyone with blue hair in the museum.
But, you know, that's not the problem. You can have blue hair and be cool. The problem is these fucking young kids, and most of them come from wealthy families.
Mm-hmm. That's the take.
Yeah.
They probably had a Monet in their house, so
And
they
they
have no
think-
respect for this shit.
They just think they're going to. But the fact that you're doing these priceless works of art from people who died centuries ago, and your cause, you think, eclipses everything else. These people are there enjoying this art. They have nothing to do with the oil industry. They're just enjoying at a museum the ability to stand in front of something that Picasso made. Like, this is wild.
And is the idea that it's going to help with global warming? We're going to
Stop oil now.
See,
like, the children. They're
know.
fucking children.
I have some aunts in Virginia, and they're so funny about the global warming thing. They're like, it's freezing. We can't afford heat. We'd love for it to warm up a little bit. I always call them for a little perspective. They're like, we take the bus. We would love for there to be less snow on the ground.
I'm always super suspicious about something that becomes like a major movement that everybody has to be on board with.
Yeah.
The bottom line about the Earth, we are 100% affecting it. It's measurable. Human beings, our carbon dioxide output, in particular our pollutants, 100% what we're doing to the ocean, we're affecting the world in a negative way. However, when it comes to the climate, when it comes to the temperature of the Earth, it has never been stable. Ever. When you look at the Earth over a course of 10,000, 15,000, whatever years, it goes up and it goes down. I was reading this whole thing about how in Idaho, in I think it was July or August of the 1930s, had reached a temperature of 118 degrees, like the highest ever recorded temperature they have. There was nothing going on there. There was no fucking wholesale machines running and fucking diesel trucks everywhere. There was none of that. It was just, it's not stable.
Right.
The whole time the Earth has been here, it goes up and down. And what Randall Carlson always says, he goes, yeah, global warming, it's bad because you have to move away from the coast. He goes, but global cooling is what's really scary.
You know something about that Randall Carlson guy that he's talking about? You should go check out his episodes. He's actually a high-level Freemason. He actually talks about it on one of the podcasts with Joe Rogan. And he actually looks at Joe and says, I can get you in. And Joe's like, nah, I don't want to be a part of a group. And far as we know, that's as far as the conversation went. Now, if we go back to the 77-year-old man, again, his name was Kenneth Darlington. There was an anti-mining protest that was going on. What happened, because they couldn't show you, I made a version of this video where I was showing everything but the gory parts, and YouTube wasn't, they didn't like that. So I can tell you that he walked up, he said, this ends here. He said, I've had enough of this. Someone said, you'd have to take us all out. Like after he drew his firearm, they said, you'd have to take us all out. He then said, who wants to be first? And everybody really took it lightly. They really did. And he was very serious. And he got one person, and then he got another. And he was very calm about it. He didn't try to run away or anything. Police took him away, and that was it. He didn't resist, nothing. So, honestly, it was bound to happen. Bound to happen when you keep on doing this to people. When you decide to block a public intersection, okay, a major intersection, or just a road, a highway, whatever, you have no idea who you're blocking. You have no idea what point of life they're at, how much they feel they have to lose, how thin their string is that they're hanging on. You have no idea. And you're going to encounter somebody like that eventually. We're seeing a lot of these people being met with force. And on the other side, on the protester side, there's been some people, I couldn't show this either. Been some people who have glued their hands, cement glued their hands to certain things and have lost hands, have lost fingers. It's very, very, it's very much like a cult, like Elon Musk was talking about, like the people with these ideologies. It's very cultish. You know, you're putting yourself in harm's way for the group. The group, and there's a head of this group. The head of this group has this thing that they say, this needs to happen. And all of a sudden, all of them, like minions, put themselves in harm's way at a moment's notice. So the bad thing about this, I showed you some images just now. That was just Stop Oil. They do that nonsensical stuff. They throw soup at things. They take hammers to paint things, all that stuff. What this gentleman, Kenneth, what he was in front of was an anti-mining protest. This was in Panama. A Canadian company actually had some kind of mining deal that was going to start happening. And apparently it was going to start affecting the people of Panama, or at least the city, like that area. It was going to start affecting their drinking water. It was going to start affecting their environment in a very negative way. So they wanted it to stop. So although they did have a noble cause, they just did it in such a way where you're opening yourself up to just exactly what happened. And it doesn't excuse what Kenneth did, but again, bound to happen. You have no idea who you're doing these things to. And I think the biggest thing that Whitney said, Whitney Cummings, if you don't know who she is, check her out, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. She's a comedian. Also has she's doing some things. She released her special on adults. It's just a comedy special. Just go check her out. You'll find out. But what she said about the invincibility, that is what they feel like. They feel like, because if you notice, all of these protesters, they come with a cameraman. It's not like someone's randomly filming. There's a cameraman who comes with them. And I think they think that they're going to be protected as long as they're being filmed. A lot of people feel like that. People disrespect law enforcement as long as they're filming. They'll let the officer know they're being filming, and they think nothing can happen to them. And it's just not true. It's just not true at all. It's wild. I've never... at the same time, and someone brought this up, they were saying, this is how, someone in the comments was saying, this is how you bring about change. But I don't really agree with that. When you look at, say, the truckers from year past, they put themselves where the government was. These people in Just Stop Oil, they're just putting themselves where the public is. So they're only annoying the public. And when it comes to a governmental body, the governmental body just hears about it. Maybe. It's just like, oh, did you hear people were protesting this, that? And they go, oh, okay. So it doesn't actually get to them. So it's a really messed up way to try and make things happen. And again, I don't know that this will be the last time. You got to think about it. You're going to a job that you don't really like. You're getting hit with inflation. You're getting hit with all sorts of things, everything that's happened in the past 5 years. You're getting hit, just barraged from everywhere. And your pay's not going up at all. And then someone decides, you know what? You're gonna be late for the job that you already don't like, and get yelled at by the boss that you already don't like, because I say so. And it's just like, some people are just like, that's enough. I've had enough. I had enough. And then they do what that gentleman did. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, but in order for that to happen, these type of protests would have to stop. Don't be confused. I think protesting is a good way of, making yourself heard, but do it in a proper way. What we've seen in the past 5 years is like, either you're burning stuff down, defacing statues, or looting, or you're just sitting in front of in front of intersections, in front of the public, in front of cars, blocking highways. Like, I don't know. Has to be a better way. I think a great way would be communicating with your local government. And instead of protesting, showing up. Imagine if someone, and I know it could fall on deaf ears, but picture this. You're in local government and thousands of people show up. Not even all together, just one at a time. And they keep talking, they keep asking you about this issue. Just one issue, whatever the issue is where you're from. They all keep asking about it, and they keep doing it week after week. Eventually, that person would be like, I think I have to do something about this. I don't know. I've had 10,000 people walk up to me and ask me about this one thing, and they all keep doing it. And it's not stopping. And I can't tell them to go away because they're doing it in the most proper way that they can possibly do it. I have appointments booked up for the next month and a half, and it's all of the same people all around the clock asking me about the same thing. I know when you hear that, you think, nah, that wouldn't change anything, but you never know. You never know. I think focusing on yourself, and then your family, and then your community, and then the local government, I think that's a real way. If you multiply that by millions and millions and millions of communities and people, I think that's a real way to make change happen. It may not be super fast, and it may not even be extremely large, but it's something, because there has to be a better way than what people have chosen to do. Has to. Anyways, guys, like the episode, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments about what Kenneth Darlington did. He has been arrested. He's for sure going to see jail time because you know, despite this being a protest, it was unprovoked. You can't just get out of your car and decide to do something like this. I'm sure many people have thought about it, but he actually did it. Might be going to jail in Panama, might be getting extradited to the United States. Not really sure. Either way, I'm out.